If you asked me like 5 years ago if I ever thought I would be a creator, I'd probably say no. But like when I started to put myself on a video camera, I was like, hi, hello.
If Nick will see his content from the start till today, knowing everything what he knows now, what would you identify for your first phase of content?
Don't look at the numbers. Don't worry about people. Like just post.
For a founder who's thinking of creating content, what mistakes that they could make at the first itself? Because they most of the time look at the trends, they want to be the viral person, but not everybody can get viral. More of the creators at the first stage are not able to put their prices out. They feel like it's a part-time gig. They feel like, they're not worth charging these many of dollars. So wanna have your viewpoint on that journey, like where a creator should feel their value and their addition to the brands.
There's a lot of resources online right now that you can access. Like, I think in the beginning when I first started, like when I was on TikTok, I searched up like beginner UGC rates.
How many brands you have worked with? Number gonna excite people.
Sports Check reached out to me to just see if I want to do like a little trip with them on a little trail run with a new shoe that they were launching with Adidas. And I was like, yo, this is like crazy.
That was the first breakthrough.
Consistency to brands mean a lot.
How do you see the creators economy in Calgary or otherwise tech space or startup ecosystem?
Because the city is a bit smaller than Toronto, I think a lot of people are starting to tap into it because they're like, oh, I could be like a pioneer as a creator. I can make it my way. Because in Toronto, like there's just so many people there and so many creators. I can only imagine the noise that you're gonna have to make for yourself.
Brands, like, shall they focus more on the trends just to get viral?
If you're a brand and you want to get sales, the viral stuff might not work well in the beginning, in the short term, but it might work in the long term.
What's your POV on affiliate marketing? Is it still relevant in this creators world? Welcome back to Real with Ritesh. I'm your host, Ritesh Watts. Today's episode is for two kind of people: creators who want to turn their skills into a serious business, and founders who want to use content to build trust, attention, and real demand for what they do. My guest is Nick, a creator and marketer who has worked with more than 100 brands and understands both sides of the equation. What makes content feel authentic to an audience and what makes it commercially valuable to a business. This is not a conversation about chasing followers, copying trends, or posting for the sake of posting. We are getting into positioning, hooks, client relationships, content that converts, and what creators and business owners need to understand as this industry keeps changing. So, Nick, welcome to Real with Ritesh. I want to start with how this journey started for you.
Yeah, so my creator journey kind of started as more of a hobby. I actually was living in Toronto before I moved to Calgary. And I actually first put out a series that was said, let's make X for my wife in the kitchen. I kind of just wanted to be like a chef, or not a chef, but just I wanted to learn how to cook. And so I started doing that. And then I eventually started posting about running. And when I started to post about running, I started going to like different events. And then one of the bigger events called Run 10K TO, I was like a pacer.
Okay.
Which basically means that like you run with like a number, and then everyone who wants to achieve that running target will follow you behind you, or they want to beat you, they go in front of you. And so when I posted that video didn't go like viral, but it got enough views for a company to reach out to me, and I was really surprised. And the company is Sports Check. And Sports Check reached out to me to just see if I wanted to do like a little trip with them on a little trail run with a new shoe that they were launching with Adidas. And I was like, yo, this is like crazy.
That was the first breakthrough.
Yeah, but it's funny because in the beginning, like when you start off as a creator, like you don't really know what to charge. You don't know like how the process works. So like in the beginning, I thought I was like Star Trek. I was like, well, Sports Check is gonna give me free Adidas shoes. I'll take it. So then I went on the event. I made a reel for them, and it was really fun. So that was kind of like the first kickoff. But yeah, I think in the beginning I just started doing a lot of like gifted collabs, free invites, just trying to get my face out there because as you probably guessed, like on social, like there's so many creators, whether you're in Calgary, whether you're in Toronto. But yeah.
Right. And before this journey, before being a creator, what were you doing? Who were you?
Good question. So my background, I've been working in corporate marketing for like 10 years now.
Okay.
I worked in social media, I worked in paid advertising, email marketing, and then kind of more in my like later years, I started to work in more like project management, more managing teams and
Mm-hmm.
working with a funnel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been kind of doing that. But even that, outside of that, I also teach at SATE. I teach marketing in their corporate training and continuing education division. So been doing that for a couple of years. It's been great. But yeah, if you asked me like 5 years ago if I ever thought I would be a creator, I'd probably say no,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really funny being someone in corporate. You're always in the back end and like behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I started to put myself on a video camera, I was like, hi, hello. Yeah.
Right. So you actually are, I think, into every domain what a new person who wants to be creator would want it to be. For example,
Yeah.
you're teaching marketing at a college, right? At a
Yeah.
reputed college. Then you were into corporate and now you're running your business as well. And you yourself are a creator as well.
Yeah.
So I wanna have this clarity for the people who are sometimes, like, some people are stuck at the stages where they are like into their comfort zone. I mean, they're creating
Mm.
content all the time, but they're not able to actually make money out of it probably. There are some businesses who are actually, making money, but they're not creating content what they should do. So starting from the point of view from the budding creators, what should they do?
Yeah. So I think the thing that creators hesitate a lot with is the fear of like being yourself on camera
Mm,
sometimes, but also just showing up consistently. Even for me, like when I first started, like I struggled a lot with posting consistently,
mm,
but now like I make sure I post like at least 5 times a week. I show up, post stories, stuff like that. And I mean, I'm not like a ginormous creator just yet, but I think that like consistency to brands
mm,
mean a lot. Brands and companies, they want to hire people that are showing up, that are posting, that are active, because that also bleeds into like reliability and turnaround time on
right.
deliverables.
Mm,
Like I know that whenever I work with a brand, they always ask me like, how fast can you turn around a video?
mm,
And I go like 2 to 3 days, and they're like, oh, perfect. We'll like work with you.
mm,
And yeah, I think brands they like that, and because you can imagine like they're hiring an extension of their team,
right.
right? And expectations for a brand means money, and they need to make some make it work somehow. And if you can deliver that for them, that's an opportunity, right? So
Right.
yeah.
How many brands you have worked with?
Uh,
That
today,
number gonna excite people.
yeah, it's funny though because like I feel like um as a creator, you post videos on your profile,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of videos that I don't post on my profile that I
Mm.
that I have on my portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably between like 125 to 150 at this point.
Right.
And I don't think I've done this for over like uh, uh I haven't done this more seriously over a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been under a year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
100 plus brands to say, right?
Yeah.
So if Nick will see his content from the start till today, knowing everything what he knows now, what would you identify for your first phase of content, like what we were creating? Any changes you want to do over there?
Like what I do to go back to change it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think I had a lot of videos that I didn't post because I was scared to post it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest thing with content creation is like everyone's in their own zone. I think everybody who posts content, when they see other content creators, we really respect that.
Mm.
But I think people stumble on posting content because they're worried about like their friends or family or whatever. And I think that like um, you shouldn't worry about that too much because I feel like the world is so big. Like
Mm.
if you get 100 views on on a video, like I think that's great to start. I mean, like nobody could have watched that, right? So I think like the numbers, like don't look at the numbers, don't worry about people, like just post, post, post.
Mm.
I think that would be something I recommend to myself earlier on.
Right. But most of the budding creators, they feel like they need to be more polished before they post the content, or their video should be, edited in a professional way. I mean, they're just hesitating for some obvious reasons, like they're not ready, they don't feel ready. But you said, like, just post, post, post. How they should come out of that comfort zone? I mean, everybody knows like they should post, right? But what changed your mind on that perspective? So as other people can also get inspiration from that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like my For You page or my recommended page, but I feel like I'm starting to see a lot of creators go really big for just being very raw and genuine.
Mm.
Um, it's funny because during the pandemic and during COVID, I tried to be a YouTuber
Mm-hmm.
and I uploaded these videos with like how to get like 5 views, how to get like money from social. Like I used to do like
Mm-hmm.
those very corporate event videos, and I think it's good. Um, but I feel like because there's so many people just want to see like a raw, like relatable person that they
Mm-hmm.
can see themselves in. So if I went back, I would just try to be more like myself. Um, I mean, the videos I post now, I feel like they are still like somewhat like drafted in a way that's for the brand. But
Mm-hmm.
for of course, when you're working with the brand, you need to have some guidelines. But I think that like putting yourself out there is hard,
Mm-hmm.
and then worrying about all the little nitty gritty things is even harder, and then that makes you just not want to post, right?
Right.
So I think worrying about that less, you probably get that video up sooner. So
True.
yeah,
So you mentioned like when you're working with brands, it usually has some confined, scope of work. And how do you manage that creator mindset? Like you being creative in your own way versus, brand guidelines.
yeah. Oh no, that's a really good question because when I first started doing this, I honestly like I had a lot of back and forth with the brand,
Mm.
and I found that like when I didn't have a system or a process in place for that,
Mm.
like I'm just emailing the brand like 5 times in a week, and I think for them they get burned out, I get burned out.
Mm.
So I think what really has helped me, at least today, is creating like a storyboard that we both build together.
Mm.
They tell me like proof points that they want to get across, visuals that they want to get across. I build the roadmap or whatever storyboard that they kind of envision.
Mm.
They approve it, I execute, and then normally there's no back and forth after that.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that for me as a creator and for other creators going into it, like structure helps a lot.
Mm.
As you can imagine, like being a creator, you just have so many ideas that you want to do all the time.
Mm.
Um, but having structure as a creator, I feel like helps a lot because it shows the other brands even that are not working with you yet, like that they can see themselves working with you too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a system that is actually personalized in your own way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's right. So creators who are actually jumping towards making this profitable, they have to have a system before they work with brands, or like it develops usually when you're working with brands automatically.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the brands you work with because like I used to work with a lot of smaller restaurants,
Mm.
and as you can imagine, they don't have a marketing team, they don't
Right.
have a marketing professional,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to help them too, right?
Mm.
So it's like coming in with that structure helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also worked with like bigger brands that like are going to me with a team, with an agency,
Mm-hmm.
and they have that all done. So I think it is kind of a case by case basis. Like sometimes I need to jump in and do that, and sometimes I can just do hands off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Right. So the points we noted down till now is like consistency is one thing that brands look forward to. Structure is another thing.
yeah,
Right. Further, what brands look in terms of the content, like are they always driven by their own motive, like what we want to get out of the creators, or is it something that you propose to brands sometime also?
yeah. No, this is a good question because I guess I have an example. Like there was a brand that like was really strict with what they wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically just wanted me to have a product in my hand and tell them that I love the product, but I
Mm-hmm.
actually didn't really want to do that because I didn't love the product as much as as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sent them my sample video, they were just telling me that they were super disappointed, and I was like, whoa, that's we could have talked this out, right? It's kind of like, I feel like with brands, they sometimes, some brands, they have like really hard, strict rules, but in terms of trying to navigate that, I think that like you as a creator need to know like what you stand for and what you want to do, but also telling the brand that earlier on. That instance that I had was a bit, I think that was like earlier on. I didn't really like have my brand, didn't know what kind of content I was creating yet. So I think that like having a strong foundation in like the type of content you want to make, the type of content you want to be seen out there, because once you give them the content, if they're boosting it, like millions of people can see it,
Right.
right?
Right.
So for your reputation as a creator, it's important that you have a good sense of like, yeah, I'm Nick. I'm a lifestyle creator in Calgary. I love talking about new things that are happening in the city. That's what I post about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned the way about the product. I was about to ask you the same way.
Yeah.
I think earlier what used to happen, brands come to the creators, like they used to call it influencers at the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it
It's
has
different.
been converted to creators. And that time it was like a script was coming to the creators. They have to just read like hand holding the product in the hand and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, then they boost this into paid advertisements like with the UGC and everything. But now the things have been changed, right? Brands even want to work more towards right raw creative aspect of the creators, right? So from the brand's perspective, if they are looking forward to work with creators, what has changed according to you, and you being working with hundreds of brand, what is your perspective that you can give to budding brands like who are thinking, let's get into creators marketing?
Yeah. I would say, because I used to work in corporate and I used to like hire influencers
Mm-hmm.
like when I used to work on the other side. And I think this is what's really changed is a lot of folks these days, they're going for like micro influencers that have a smaller following, and they're not too worried about how many followers you have these days. They're more looking at folks that make content that get not the likes anymore, but more like the comments, the shares,
Mm-hmm.
the engagement, more so than just like the big vanity metrics that you used to look at. Um, and I think it's because like the folks that have a strong community in their pages, like they're more likely to convert based on what the creator says now. Um, people want to be people don't want to be as aspirational. They want to be relatable. Like I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like they
Mm-hmm.
want to find relatability, not aspirational, um, in terms of like products that they use.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say in terms of for brands, when they're looking out for creators, like look for creators that you think that like have a strong community, that have a strong sense of value to what you want to be doing for your customers. Like if you're selling like supplements, like if you look for like creators that are like starting to train for a marathon and they need like a supplements to kind of help boost their electrolyte stuff, because I've done that basically with a couple of brands,
Okay.
and it worked really well because like I did my third marathon this year,
Mm-hmm.
and having some brands help support me along my journey,
Mm-hmm.
being like really raw and supportive, like has done us good in both ways for sure.
Right, definitely. I think from the consumption point of view, like how the content is being consumed by the people is again more towards interest based now. As you mentioned, like people are not looking for creators who have millions of views,
Yeah,
who has millions of followers. They're more likely who is creating content that they want to watch.
yeah,
So that's why I've seen people who are just having thousands of followers, but reels are going into millions because that interest is being tapped, right?
yeah.
So for brands, like when they're working with micro influencers, with community based people, you said it's more about the conversions or it's more about engagement?
It does depend on the brand. Like I always kind of like as a marketing nerd, I always go back to like what's the goal? Like
Hmm.
what's your objective? Are you
Mm-hmm.
looking to get reach, impressions, like sales conversions? So I think for brands these days, because they go out to creators, their goal ultimately is for conversions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that like using engagement rates as a filter is probably the first step for brands, is kind of to fit, because you're gonna have like maybe 100 people on your roster,
Mm-hmm.
and going through that roster can be quite extensive if you're just
Mm-hmm.
looking at like one thing. So
Right.
engagement, I feel like, is a good way to filter it down. And then sometimes some brands, they work with like maybe like 10 creators. They test the content out. If one converts and one doesn't, then I think for them, that's a good signal for them.
right?
Yeah.
And more of the creators at the first stage are not able to put their prices out. They feel like it's
Yes.
a part-time gig. They feel like, they're not worth charging these many of dollars.
Yeah.
So wanna have your viewpoint on that journey, like where a creator should feel their value and their addition to the brands.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very like flip-flop subject for me because I think I'm a bit of a soft guy when it comes to charging people.
Okay.
I think like in the beginning, like I just did everything for free.
Okay.
But I didn't mind that. I was working, I had my teaching job, like money-wise, like I was doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then for me, like I didn't mind because I also just moved from like Toronto to Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
So my name wasn't really out there even to begin with. So yeah, like I did a couple of free videos for quite a bit, and even today, sometimes if it's a small business that's starting off, like, and I love their food and they give me a free meal, like, I don't mind, right?
Right.
I feel like we're all here to like help each other out, so it's
Mm-hmm.
a good thing for me. But I guess in terms of like the rates, there's a lot of resources online right now that you can access. Like, I think in the beginning when I first started, like on when I was on TikTok, like I searched up like beginner UGC rates,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of use that as like a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess what they kind of say too, like even for me in practice, like once you start building a portfolio with brands that people start to like, then you start just slowly increase your rate. Um, yeah, I guess for me, because I also work in marketing, like I also look at it like as a per hour standpoint too. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm working 5 hours on this project, and I used to get paid like this amount during my corporate
Mm-hmm.
role, I would just like do that multiplier
Right.
as well sometimes. So
Right.
yeah.
For brands watching out, they'll be like, Nick is a soft guy. Let's approach him now.
I mean, depends, right? Like if it's so for me, like restaurants,
Hmm.
if it's a restaurant and they're like a really small,
Hmm.
they just started, like I know that for me, like I have some family members that like started off restaurants and like for
Mm-hmm.
them, like I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I feel like that's the point. Like I feel like social should be about community, and I think that like I've met so many creators in the last few months that like I feel like I know like who to reach out to and stuff if I have
Mm-hmm.
anything that I have questions about. But yeah,
Right. So doing some free videos at the first should not be a bad thing,
no, no,
right? And at this point also you're doing some free videos depending upon, the stage of the business and you're able to help them. Okay.
yeah.
Question from the point of view when you mentioned like you moved from Toronto to Calgary. What inspired you to move? There was a campaign, I think 2, 3 years back from the Alberta government. Was that the moving factor or is it something else? Because I also moved from Toronto.
Yeah, that's so funny because I remember going on like Dundas Square, or not Dundas Square now, but like before I just saw like so many billboards,
Mm.
and I have a bit of an interesting journey. So I was born and raised in Vancouver,
Okay.
and then I actually did go to Calgary for like 4 years, and then I moved to Toronto, and then I moved back to Calgary
Okay.
last year.
Any plans to move back to Vancouver, completing the journey?
My so all my like close friends growing up are from Vancouver, and so they're always like, Nick, when are you coming back, man? Like,
That's the last step of the journey, right? From
yeah,
Vancouver to Toronto and then back.
I don't know. We'll see. It's funny though because I did move back from Toronto to Calgary because all my family kind of live in Alberta.
Hmm.
So I think for us, like for me and my wife, because I met my wife in Toronto, it was just kind of made sense. Her family's in Vietnam, so it's like
Hmm.
on the other side of the world. It's nice to have like a village that you can kind of go to when
Mm.
you need things, right? So
Hmm. Okay.
yeah.
How long it has been in Calgary now?
Uh, so I moved in 2018, and then I moved to Toronto in 2022 for like my master's degree.
Hmm.
And then when I finished my master's degree, I moved back to I moved back to Calgary in late of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you see the creators economy in Calgary or otherwise tech space or
Mm.
startup ecosystem? Because I think government and even the private bodies over here, like they're trying to boost creators economy as well as the tech system in Calgary. What is
Yeah.
your POV on that?
Yeah. I so when I moved to Calgary back in 2018, from Vancouver, creators and influencers, I feel like there weren't a lot of us.
Mm.
Um, and then when I came back in 2020, like last year, there's a lot of people in the city now.
Mm.
And I think that like because the city is a bit smaller than Toronto, I think a lot of people are starting to tap into it because they're like, oh, I could be like a pioneer as a creator. I
Mm.
can make it my way. Because in Toronto, like there's just so many people there
Mm.
and so many creators. So I can only imagine the noise that you're gonna have to make for yourself. Whereas in Calgary, I also feel like too, like it's very community driven. A lot of people that I met are like super chill, super nice, friends today even, and we help each other out. I haven't really found that in Toronto, but not the same thing about Toronto, but like, it's I feel like it's a good community in Calgary here at least.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Have you participated in some of the events? Like you mentioned, you have met a lot of creators in previous months.
I've been invited to a lot of grand openings
Mm-hmm.
for restaurants, which is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. I recently went on a brand trip in July, and it was with like a bunch of creators. We went to like ranches and farms back in Alberta, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like I do get invited pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like tw- I'd say maybe like 3 to 4 times a month.
Okay.
So maybe once a week ish, depending on the
Right.
brand. So yeah.
Right. Okay. From the point of view for creating content that relates to audience versus that
Uh,
is relevant to the brands, I think most of the creators nowadays says like first 3 seconds, the hook that matters a lot. What is your POV on that? I mean, the budding creators. I also, tend to talk to a lot of creators who are into that small creator range. They are trying their way forward to have brands. So does that 3 second hook formula, which is being marketed online, works? How does algorithm works? What's your viewpoint on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say it kind of depends on the content you're making. So when I started doing content, I just did like organic content on my own page.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started doing more like UGC, like user generated content collaborations, like the hook came up a lot more then. And it makes sense because like a UGC video, if it's especially if it's an ad, it's a sponsored post, so you only get like that small window of like opportunity to like grab someone's attention.
Mm-hmm.
I do find that with organic videos like that are just like lifestyle videos, sometimes like a hook is good, but it's not a hard requirement to make sure that the video does well. Sometimes if your audience sees your face and they're like, "Oh, it's Nick. I'm gonna just watch his entire video because I love him," right? So it's like
Mm.
it depends. But I'd say that like the hook is still relevant today, but it might be altered differently depending on the video ask that's kind of coming about. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And from brands, like, do they, like, shall they focus more on the trends just to get viral? I'm talking about small businesses here, like trying to capture their mindset on that,
yeah,
because a lot of brands sometimes comes like I'm not saying brands, I'm saying businesses. A lot of businesses sometimes have their mindset in a way like we just need to get viral on internet. They're not focused on revenue or they're not focused on what profit they're gonna make out of this campaign.
yeah,
So from marketing point of view, from creator point of view, what matters most?
yeah. I when I teach this kind of stuff
Hmm.
in class,
Hmm.
I say it's a mix.
Okay.
But in practice, I do also feel like it is also a mix, but depends on what your priority is. Like at the time, like if you're a brand and you want to get sales, the viral stuff might not work well in the beginning, in the short term, but
Hmm.
it might work in the long term. Because if you're a brand and you need to get views, you need to get reach, and you're new, viral stuff helps you get people in the door, but it doesn't close the deal, right?
Hmm.
But I do find that like if you're able to do that consistently along with the content you normally traditionally do, you kind of have like almost like a loop effect. Sorry,
Hmm.
whoops. You almost have like a loop effect coming in. So you have people coming in the door, you have people closing, and at the same time when people are closing, new people are coming in the
Hmm.
door, right? So I do say that like you gotta have both.
Hmm.
You gotta have both types of content for sure.
For a founder who's thinking of creating content, what mistakes that they could make at the first itself? Because they most of the time look at the trends, they want to be the viral person, but not everybody can get viral.
Yeah, I think if you want to get, oh, if you want to get viral, wow, that's a good
I think we can
question.
make the question in a way
It's
how to
like
get viral.
it's like this video, you're gonna get viral. um, yeah, if you want to get viral,
I
I've
think
had,
I think we can make a suspenseful music over here.
yeah.
Nick is telling how to get viral.
It's like, you guys want to get viral? Let's drop mic drop. Um, yeah, I've had a couple of videos go viral, but it's kind of funny because going viral sometimes happens in the most unexpected ways. Like, I'll be honest, like I've had like maybe 3 or 4 videos that had like maybe like 1 to 5 million views, and I don't know how, but I do feel like a lot of it comes from like being spontaneous. Um, and I think that should be part of the content strategy. Like, you shouldn't have to like plan every single video to the T. Like, you should have room and flexibility with your content, whether it's being natural, using a sound bite that's like popping off, or like using a trend that's going off. Like, you should have room for that in your strategy. And I think, as I kind of mentioned, like that looping effect, that where people are coming in the door, having that flexibility in your strategy is going to help build that for you too. So the answer, viral, be flexible, I would say,
Right.
and be open too, because I feel like a lot of content these days, sometimes you might come off like super structured, but I feel like the most viral content these days is like the unstructured content that like people can relate to, people would watch a second time. Like, if you wouldn't watch that video a second time, then the chances of it going viral are pretty low, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And people who like that content in a way, like they want to share with their friends and family. So more share rate,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Where you see the creators economy is heading.
I see the creator economy getting bigger than it is today. I think a lot of brands and a lot of folks are starting to see the potential of content creators, because from a brand side, like, you want to find people that can deliver your brand, your product, your service in the most natural way that doesn't seem like an influencer with 1 million followers is doing. But on the creator side, I also feel like the the barriers to entry are keep getting lower. Like, anybody can do it. I honestly, like, some people message me sometimes. They're like, "Wow, Nick, you seem so natural on camera." I'm like, I'm not. Like, you don't see me cutting my videos. You don't see me doing it. Like, sometimes I need a script. Sometimes I need to like filter out things.
Right.
But I feel like I'm just a regular person that like posts video online, and anybody can do that. But it's like going back to that first question that we had in the beginning. It's kind of um, like letting those your own barriers down. Like, I think like a lot of people have that fear of being judged or having a mean comment. Like, when I got my first mean comment, I was like, that's great, because they're engaging with my content, right?
Yeah.
And more people will respond to that mean comment, and it does, like, some people like help me, some people don't. But for me, like, if people are seeing my content and they respond to something, then that's a win for me. So
Yeah.
I take that.
That comment actually gets you the more engagement. It works in your favor otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny. I had a mean comment about like, because sometimes when I first started posting about my running journey, when I was training for a race, like, someone was like, "Why do you keep filming yourself running? Like, why don't you just run?" I was like, "Because I like running." And then I would have like family members like jump into the conversation, like, "Why does that matter to you? What does that matter to you?" And then I'm in the background like, "Look at this engagement keep flowing." Yeah. So it helps me and helps creators
Be the
that way.
topic of the talk.
Exactly. Right. So
Great. So you said barriers are very low. That's very true. I think for any other profession on the world, you have to get a bachelor's, you have to get a diploma, then you have to, start your journey.
yeah.
Over here, you just have to take your camera and start recording, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you can refine yourself. There's definitely a journey to it. Like, you learn by doing or you learn by yourself. I wanna have a more depth from your side. Like, when you mentioned already, like you started with the running videos and now you're working with brands. Are you more polished now in a way? Like, whenever you're creating content, you're very selective, or is it still that same, Nick, where like you have all those ideas and you're trying to do everything and then filtering it out afterwards?
That's a really good question, because I can kind of bring up a story. So basically, for me, in the beginning, I used to just like throw so many ideas out there. But then for me, like, it's funny because I worked in marketing for so long, and you talk about like messaging, positioning, like everything, right?
Mm.
And for me, like I was never on the my face was never on content before, right? So um, it was an interesting battle to figure out like how do I want my face to be associated with a certain message,
Mm.
and how do I make that fit for a brand? And in the beginning, I'll be honest, like I was kind of like I had a lot of back and forth with the brands because like products I like, products that I didn't like, services I liked, and then how do I communicate that for people like yourself to like be convinced that this is going to work for you, right?
Mm.
So I think that like something that really helped me during that process is like a lot of practice. Sometimes in the beginning, people will say you need a portfolio of some sort,
Mm.
and I'll be honest, in the beginning, I didn't have a portfolio because when you're starting off, like we just don't have anything,
Right.
right? And so sometimes I would just take my favorite product that I actually really like,
Mm.
film it, and post it. And I think for brands, like they see that and they're like, oh yeah, like I can actually see like our own product in Nick's hands, and him making a video for us.
Mm.
And then conversation is just gonna start from there. Like you reach out to the brand, you're like, man, guys, I love like your product. I made this for you. If you want
Mm.
to use it, we can talk.
Mm.
So
Right. And how is AI impacting this creators economy now? AI UGC videos are, flooding on the internet.
yeah.
But yeah, difference would definitely be into engagement and relatability. But from your point of view, as a marketer, as a creator, as a business owner yourself, do you see anytime soon AI creators will overtake human creators?
Yeah, I feel like people are either like 100% on this and like a 0% on this. I
Hmm.
feel like I'm more closer to the 0%.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just feel like because like AI creators cannot, well, I can't say this now. I don't know about the future, but like right now, I don't see AI creators doing like live Instagram videos or stories like that. Like that, I think a lot of people, when they look for people to follow, that relatability perspective, it's really hard to get AI to do that. Um, I do see AI videos doing well. Like my my gosh, like my mom like watches so much AI videos and
Mm.
she can't distinguish that yet.
Hmm.
But like I think that like it's getting a lot better with like people in AI videos like talking about a product or a service.
Hmm.
But I do find that like content creation as it's kind of getting more intensive, I feel like a lot of folks are looking for the authenticity
Hmm.
that like even a non AI video that's generated by a brand that can't sell versus someone that is talking about it like with a really raw opinion. So yeah, I feel like I don't think AI is going to overtake UGC or content creation. I think it will expedite processes
Hmm.
and how workflows work.
Hmm.
Even for me, like I use AI in a lot of my stuff just to like
Hmm.
get work done,
Hmm.
but I never use AI to like build a video. So
Right.
yeah,
There are some apps like who creates your own AI twin.
yes, I've seen that.
How do you see that? I mean, definitely AI is not taking the human UGC creators like
Yeah.
yourself, right? But do you see any time you're creating your twin just to speed up the production?
Yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned that because I just got an ad. I think I just got an ad about like an AI app that does like translation for different languages.
Mm-hmm.
So it would take like your own video in
Mm.
English, the same video that you're doing, like we're doing right now, and
Mm-hmm.
then translate it into like my mother tongue,
Mm.
like Vietnamese or something like that.
Mm.
And I thought that was so wild, but it's getting better.
Right.
Um, I do find that like it's not it won't be like the end all. I think it's definitely like helps to broaden the reach
Mm.
and get things done faster. So yeah.
Right. I think Meta itself is doing that, right? When you
Yeah.
post on Facebook or Insta, they translate into different languages. Like, so as your distribution is into more countries,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
myself has created my AI twin. I've
Yeah.
tried to see that. It looks great. I mean, when you're like you just have to post the video out, you can just give them a script and it creates on that. Okay. Any experience, any exposure that you recently got from something that was very wild to you in terms of ideation? Like, wow, this is going to happen in creator economy.
Something that I didn't really expect to really pop off was like social selling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it's like on Whatnot, people are like on showing a product and they're like buying stuff.
Mm.
I'm starting to see a lot of brands tap into that. So like they'll find like live social sellers to like sell their product on stream.
Mm.
And I think for me, like that's just another avenue of content creation. Like I feel like content creation UGC, like it's just gonna get way more diversified with what we actually mean and what that actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, we traditionally see like me myself posting on Instagram, going to an event, but then social selling is already a big thing, and it's gonna get even more intensive. Like more platforms are gonna start to be created for that, and even for creators, I feel like too. Like I also feel like brands are gonna get a lot more strict with who they pick out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now, I even on the influencer or on the brand side, like and when I teach, I notice that a lot of tools are just popping up with how to analyze a creator
Mm.
and to really make sure that like the stats that they can provide. Because of course, like when a creator provides like a media kit, you can trust that.
Mm.
But I feel like brands are taking another step to do their due diligence
Right.
to check like vanity metrics, followers, engagement, posts, whatnot. Um, because yeah, budgets are getting tighter and tighter, and they do need to make sure that the return is like in their best favor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. What's your POV on affiliate marketing? Is it still relevant in this creator's world?
uh
Have you ever used that for yourself?
yeah, I have, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't think affiliate marketing is going to die out. I think it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, I haven't seen it generate as much as a brand using one of my ads to like get leads or sales.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, I could be different. Like it depends on like the volume of the creator what they're following and
Mm-hmm.
how strong their following is. If you have a really strong following, I think affiliate marketing makes a lot of sense. But I think for me, because I've been more focused on UGC
Mm.
and making paid ads for brands, that has probably worked better for me.
Right. I think more of the platforms are actually trying to reinvent how affiliate marketing works with their content. For example,
Yeah.
now we are able to tag products in the reels itself. The way you were mentioning about social selling, I think it's going in that direction, right?
Yeah,
So you are actually
exactly.
speaking about the product and tagging the product itself in the platforms. Do you see that change just in terms of helping the brands or helping the creators?
Yeah, I actually do agree with you because I feel like that's kind of where affiliate marketing is going. Is like people are getting kind of lazy to go into their bio, go use
Mm.
their coupon code and stuff
Mm.
like that. They just want to see you use the product and then there's
Right
like
away.
one swipe, right?
Mm.
They're just trying like with social selling, I think it's like a little eliminating the steps in the process to
Mm.
buying the product because these social selling apps, like I was on like Whatnot yesterday and just to kind of see, but like they ship the product the next day straight to your house, like
Mm.
as soon as you swipe right.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that's like cool.
So all of the friction removed.
All the friction is removed. You don't have to go into like a landing page. You don't need to input a
Mm.
coupon code. You don't need to verify. Like if you set up the your information correctly on that like social selling app,
Mm-hmm.
it, you can get the product next day. Like it's kind of like Amazon almost. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's working in favor of apparel brands, right? Where you see
Yes.
somebody in that dress, in those clothes, in those accessories, you feel like okay, you're relevant. These are relevant to your style.
Yes.
You swipe. Okay. If a creator is watching you right now and he's thinking like, okay, now I got something to work on, what should be the next 3 videos for him or her should be?
Yeah, I think the styles that are doing well for creators these days is definitely one being behind the scenes.
Mm.
So if you can show yourself like in a day in the life, what you're up to, how your life is going, it also helps the brands envision themselves in your life.
Mm.
And that conversation can kind of pick up from there. I also do feel like the other ones that work really well is if you can find like um, lifestyle integration videos. So if you're doing an activity, for
Mm.
example, and you can find like for me at least, I use like cooking as an example, and ingredients I use in cooking actually open the doors for like brands to do cooking videos with me.
Mm.
So I think that works really well too. And then the last one I think that you should always do, and I mentioned this earlier on, is having flexible content.
Mm.
picking up viral trends, or not viral trends, but like maybe using viral sounds, or even content that is kind of picking up. As I mentioned, I think that it does open the door for like people to support you and find you. As you probably imagined, TikTok, Instagram, there's just so many people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Getting your eyeballs on one thing does do a lot in long term,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but never lose purpose behind why you're creating what. I think that's the biggest thing after that.
For the businesses, I've seen some businesses are still skeptical about, having creators in their marketing campaign. What would you like to tell them?
It's funny I say this because on the creator side, I'm like, don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
But like on the business side, I think that if you're not really sure if you want to do creator economy marketing, test it out. You never know. Never say never. But how I would really approach it is if you are really tight on budgets, some folks offer I guess it's kind of like performance based
Mm-hmm.
structure. You can offer creators like free product,
Mm.
and they make the video for you and you pay them based on the performance. That way you send the product, you have content, but you're also incentivizing creators to like do their best.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been offered that and that works for me sometimes. So yeah,
Mm.
I don't mind. Um, I think as well from a brand perspective, sometimes some creators like myself, I'm a bit
Mm.
of a soft one sometimes, but brands and creators, there's a lot of gifted opportunities
Mm.
just to like support businesses and community, especially if you're a new business. I totally get it. Like if you have like no budget for marketing and you just want to get out there are creators that will help you.
Right.
And I think that's the great thing about creator economy
Mm.
and community is like everyone's here to help another. Like as a creator, I'd love to get like more people to know who I am.
Mm.
As a business, I love to get like folks to know about my business more, right?
Right.
So I think offering gifted opportunities for an exchange for a service product works just as well. And I think lastly, the other thing that kind of worked for me for from a business standpoint, I think that like working with creators that um, sorry, working with creators that you feel like other brands that worked with before.
Mm.
Never go into a creator roster not knowing what brands they worked with before or the
Mm.
type of videos they made before.
Mm-hmm.
Always try to see like other brands they worked with, because I think that like even for me, like when I was starting off, like a brand could have known that I could advertise their product poorly,
Mm.
but because I had a portfolio, I've done other niches similar to that, like they could see themselves with myself, right?
Right.
So I think for brands, like always protect yourself, like making sure that like you do the due diligence of knowing who exactly you want to work with
Mm.
and what examples of work they've done in the past.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is like a side note, but just like I've seen people like take advantage of that
Mm.
where like they take a product and then they like never get back to the brand. And
Mm.
then it's just like the brand just loses a gifted product.
Right.
So look for creators that like have that genuine aspect of like liking,
Mm.
like they love doing this,
Mm-hmm.
they love creating content, and they work with other brands. Even if those other brands that they worked with weren't like paid collaborations, if they
Mm.
have like videos, that shows ambition, right? I think
Mm.
it shows passion too. So
Mm-hmm. I think in that way, what we have seen in creators community as well. For example, if you are very specific to a niche and you're working with that sort of brands only, and another brand approaches you which you don't feel a fit with,
yeah,
usually they recommend other creators in their own community, right? So
yes,
it's a sharing of business, and I think it benefits both creators and brands likewise, right?
yeah,
So what would be your message to creators community that we have in Calgary, to other creators in the Calgary?
yeah. Hi,
That
I'm
perfect.
Nick. Nice to meet you guys.
Most
No,
of them know you already. I'm
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure.
I feel like my ads have been kind of here and there, so maybe they've
Yeah.
seen me. But yeah, I would say to other creators in the Calgary community, I think because Calgary is such a tight knit area, I think being open and making friends with people is always a good spot. Because I've had some friends that like recommended me to opportunities before,
Mhm.
and I've done that for other people too. I think being very open to meeting people, biggest thing, but also don't saying no to opportunities to come by, because you never really know where they might lead to.
Right.
So yeah, open-minded, flexibility, and good attitude.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So I think we can close right on this note, right?
sure.
It
Yeah,
was a great conversation with you, Nick. Had really had the pleasure of knowing your journey, and definitely, I'm sure like a lot of people will be inspired today to be a content creator.
yeah. I hope so. Make your videos.
Don't overthink, just start with it.
Just start with it. Yeah.
Nick, thank you. This was a very real conversation, not just about making content, but about building a business around trust, positioning, and understanding what a brand or customer actually needs. My biggest takeaway is simple: content is not valuable just because it looks good or gets views. It becomes valuable when it makes someone stop, trust, understand, and take action. If you are a creator, focus on becoming commercially useful, not just creatively talented. And if you are a founder, do not wait for perfect production. Start creating content that answers the real questions your customers already have. Nick, thank you again for coming on The Real with Ritesh. For everyone watching or listening, connect with Nick through the links below. If this conversation gave you something useful, subscribe, share it with a creator or founder who needs it, and I'll see you in the next episode.